Likutei Halachos Yomi, Hilchos Tzitzis, Perek Gimel. We continue with paragraph Yud Gimel, Yud Beis and Yud Gimel. Here, Rabbi Nosson has explained an important principle about the Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash, as the Gemara in Yuma Daf Nandal Amud Beis says, is the place Misham Hushtas HaOlam. Umisham nispashet hamokom shel olam kulo. There's a particular, it's the central nervous system point of the entire world, out of which everything flows. All existence, all reality finds its root source in that place, and a particular place called the Even Shesiyah. The Ramchal explains that such a concept exists in a parallel sense lamala. There's an Even Shesiyah lamala, which is connected to Even Shesiyah Lamata, and this is the place in which every aspect of life is concentrated and flows out to all the four corners of the earth. And therefore, it is the central place in the entire world, and that's the aspect of Yaakov Avinu folding up Eretz Yisrael and sleeping under his head when he went to the house of Lavan. It is above space, and incorporates all the spaces of the world. And this principle is the principle of being able to take the lowness of this world, the finiteness of this world, and bring it above. So this he explains two concepts. Number one, the Lishkas HaGazis, which was a central place in the Beis HaMikdash, also yun of stone, which is similar to the Even Shesiyah, is the place of Horah, Sham Yotzei Torah L'Kol Yisrael. The Mishnah Sanhedrin tells us it's a place where truth and judgment of actual Piskei Halacha, it's the final point. No one can dispute a halacha that comes out of Lishkas HaGazis, and if he does, in terms of giving Horah, that's Chayav Misa, that's the concept of Zokein Mamre, a rebellious judge or leader who paskins, who decides the halacha against the consensus of the Lishkas HaGazis, of the 71 member chamber of judges. And says Reb Nosson, the reason why that the divine law emanates from that space, as it says, Min hamakam ahu asher yivchar Hashem, from that place where truth will emanate, and when we say Ki mitzion teitzei Torah dvar Hashem Yerushalayim, that's what we're referring to, is because since it is exactly the point which is lamala min hamakom nazman, it represents the sweetening of harsh judgments, of limitations, of tsar and soros, and represents the ability of midas harachamim to be misgaber over midas hadin, which gives us all these restrictions and penalties. And Mitzrayim being the polar opposite. If you think about it this way, Mitzrayim has a fixed place because the Nile River was their source of life, and it was fixed at all times. There was never a need for rainfall, and therefore people were stuck in that particular location because there was no chiyus for them in any other location. And also the boundaries of Egypt are very difficult to escape. So not only do they have to be there to support their life, but if they try to escape, they'll die. So that's why Mitzrayim is the ultimate finite place, whereas Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim, is dependent on our prayers, is dependent on divine mercy. Eini Hashem Tlibo, Miresh son of Achos Hashanah. People should remember this when encountering any difficulties with tzaras, particularly in the land of Israel, just to daven, because ultimately we work on a different operating system, and Hashem will answer us if we plead for compassion in Eretz Yisrael, and we don't make the mistake of things are operating under a natural law or scientific order exclusively. And then also, Reb Nosson explains that this is the concept of karbanos. As he says, Ki ikar bechinas hamakom hu machmas chesaron das. When we say these restrictions and these fallings of das, and not getting a clear sense of what is above everything we're witnessing, then, as he says, anybody who has das is closer to the concept of lamala min hamakam, above these restrictions, as it says in Likutei Maharan Chelik Beis Torah Samach Aleph, Torah 61 on the pasuk Ani Hayom Yeladeticha. Take a look over there. That's a pasuk in Tehillim Beis that explains this idea of Lamala Min HaMakam in greater detail. So therefore, says Rav Nosson, when a person sins and they enter into this ruach shtus, they lose their das, because anybody who makes a mistake and so falls into sin is called a shota, a sota, like we say in the Gemara, sota. He just lost their minds for temporary insanity. And we take a behema, which does not have human das, and we bring it to that specific makom, and we raise it, by sacrificing it to Hashem, and its animal soul then rises up in this place and becomes connected to this place of lamalam and a makom, which is the restoration of das, which is really what a person is doing. You're saying, I fell to a behema-like state of not knowing, not understanding, not being aware of Hashem or Hashem's will, and not seeing things in the bigger perspective of lamalam and a makom, and therefore I need to raise my mindset. And the carbon is symbolic of the person raising themselves from the level of lack of das, which is behema, to the understanding of das, that Hashem is the controller, ruler of the world, and His will is always must be observed. And not only that, but it's always for the best, and it's the most compassionate way of dealing with people. No matter what they're experiencing, it's all coming from a place of compassion and love from Ribono Shel Olam.